What is going on? It is August 3rd, 2025, and we are back with some more drafting going on today. So, Underdog dropped a few new contests today, and we will be going over those, and I will be doing the Husky 2 drafts. So, that is where that is at. And I will go ahead and play the little intro here. So, I will see you guys after the intro. What's up, guys? KG here, and 8/3/2025. It is August 3rd, 2025. The year's flown by so far, and we are almost back to football season. As you can see, Underdog dropped a couple new contests today. The Pomeranian 2, it is a 50 entry max, 20K to first, $3 per entry contest, so 150 to max. 50 entries, so you can get some bullets in if you want. 2 out of 12, 2 out of 10, 1 out of 10, and then a 248 seat final. If you make the finals, you are guaranteeing yourself $150. So you're guaranteeing your money back if you max the contest. You get 50 shots at it in a 74,000 person field. Not necessarily the worst value in the world. So, I mean, if you're a lower budget kind of guy, this is not a bad contest, I would say. Not my preferred way to play, but I do think it is a very good way to play if you're getting your feet wet and you want to get some drafts in and, you kind of want to get some hands off. This is a good contest to get your feet wet in if you're just now getting going in draft season. This contest is a 10 entry max, 40 per entry contest. I've already done a few bullets. We'll go over those here in a second. It is a 3 out of 12, 2 out of 8, 1 out of 6 in a 117 seat final. A lot higher of a chance to advance in that first round. In the second round, and even the last round, really. I mean, a 1 out of 6 chance. Obviously, if you can get through that last round, you will make the 117 seat final, which would be your money back on the contest if you max, which is ideal in this situation. As far as the return goes, 11,000 total entries, which is not that many, all things considered. So you're drafting against some pretty sharp drafters, I would say. These are probably a little bit more experienced guys. This is kind of the price point everybody likes that is in that tier of guys, which is what I consider myself. I think these are really fun to build. I do think you can build some pretty structurally sound teams in here, though, as well. I do think you can vary a little bit as far as the structure goes with stacking and things like that. Some strategy kind of goes into this a little bit. I think you just take best projected player in this and you keep it moving. I don't think you really have to go stacks here, so to speak, but I do think best player projection is great. So yeah, we've already drafted a few. I did one on Nick Box stream. If you guys know who Nick is, you can go tune in over there. I was not on the stream, but I was in the room. This is the team that I ended up with. Ended up with a 3-6-7-2. We have Bo Nix, Jordan Love, Aaron Rodgers, Amarion Hampton, Ken Walker, DeAndre Swift, Tajay Spears, Taj Brooks, Harquez Hunter. Then we got Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, DK Metcalf, Jordan Addison, Romeo Dobbs, Pat Bryant, Wandale Robinson. Tight end room, we have Mark Andrews, Zach Ertz. We did get sniped out of the Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, unfortunately. And the guy decided that he wanted to be that kind of dude. And he also took Kyler Murray. So he took Kyler Murray stacked with Trey McBride. At least it made sense. And then he took Joe Burrow just out of spite. So it is what it is. He's won a contest, so he must be somewhat sharp. I get it. But same breath, it's kind of annoying, just the fact that he did it. It is what it is. And I would not consider his team very competitive, I guess, for lack of better wording. That's just my opinion. Unfortunately, it is what it is. It happens in these rooms. So, like I said, is what it is at the end of the day. But yeah, that's the 101 room I got. This one I got the 102. Structurally speaking, 2-4-9-3. We needed the receivers. You'll see why here in a second. We got Lamar Jackson, Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, Bijan Robinson, Chase Brown, James Cook, Austin Eckler at running backs. I feel like that's enough at running back. And you can see who my receiver one is. DK Metcalf, Jaden Reed, Chris Godwin, Jaden Higgins, Rashid Shaheed, Marvin Mims, Kyle Williams, Keenan Allen, and Jalen Coker, rounding out the receiver room there. And then at the tight end room, we got Tucker Kraft, Kyle Pitts, and Jatavion Sanders. Very unique kind of build, I feel like. I felt like going in with this team, I definitely was not planning this. James Cook falling at 50, I thought it was too good a value to pass, so I took it. And that's where the structure kind of, I was hoping to get DK Metcalf like Jalen Waddle or something there, but it didn't work out that way. We get Jaden Reed, who I'm a huge fan of this year. Chris Godwin is another guy where if we can get him back week 1 or even a couple weeks out, this team should be okay. Earlier, the better. If Chris Godwin's there week 1, this team is pretty solid, I would say. We got plenty of depth at receiver to make up for it, though. We got some high-end kind of boom guys here with Mims and Shaheed. Higgins, I think, can play a big role. Nico Collins hasn't been healthy for a full season ever in his career. Maybe this is the year for it. I'm kind of betting on it being just based on my exposures, but this is kind of the bet against that maybe Higgins steps up as the alpha in that room at some points in the year, and we see some things there that look good. Keenan Allen, this is kind of the bet that he signs with the Chargers. He ends up being the receiver too, and he gets some volume. And we know what Keenan Allen is. We know what kind of role he plays, what he serves on a team. So I do think there is value in that, and especially getting him at pick 194. If he signs with the Chargers, we see this guy go up to the probably Kyle Williams range, maybe a little bit sooner. So I'm willing to take that bet. Coker, I think he can beat Leggett out. Personally, I think he's better. But we'll see. I mean, we get a little bit of Carolina thing going here. I do like Carolina quite a bit this year. I kind of did that accidentally, but it just kind of happened. I think Carolina has a good chance to be a good throwing offense this year. So that's that team. And then the first Husky that we did, we'll just say allow. We have Jalen Hurts, Dak Prescott, A-Rich. We do have an elite quarterback room, elite running backs here, JT, Amarion Hampton, Tony Pollard, Ray Davis, Brashard Smith, Justice Hill. I like that running back room a lot. Receiver-wise, we have CeeDee Lamb, Calvin Ridley, Jordan Addison, Michael Pittman, Romeo Doubs, Pat Bryant, Michael Wilson. Pretty solid overall there. And then tight end room, we got Kelsey and Warren. Kind of like one of my favorite tight end pairings to get. Jalen Hurts, obviously, we know what he is. We don't really have to talk about him a whole lot. Dak was a faller here, surprisingly enough. We got him paired up with CD. We got Naked, Jalen. We got A-Rich, JT, Michael Pittman, and Warren. So we were kind of making the bet on the Colts offense here. We got Ridley and Pollard, a little bit Tennessee kind of guys. I think those are the focal points there. One of those two guys can pay off every week. That's kind of what we were hoping for. Addison, we know he's going to miss a couple weeks. That's fine. He's going to have his boom weeks. If he scores, comes back and scores 30, he already made up his floor plays from the first 2 weeks. So it's not really a big deal. Pittman, I think, has some upside this year. I think A-Rich is going to be better than people expect. I do think Pittman's going to be a big reason for that. Pittman and Warren, I do think they're kind of underrated as an offense. So I think it could be interesting to see them play this year. Romeo Doubs is just kind of a stable guy. Pat Bryant, I think, has a lot of upside. Michael Wilson is kind of the stable back-end guy there. So we got those three teams. I just wanted to go over them real quick and kind of touch on them real quick. We're going to go ahead and enter a Husky lobby here, and we are waiting on 5 people. So if you guys want to get in the Husky lobby, make sure y'all get in. I'll put it in some Discords here real quick, and then we'll get started. So we got 4 people now waiting. So if you guys are new here, make sure y'all smash a like and subscribe. Really would appreciate it. Like I said, best ball season. This is the best season so far. This is the time of the year where we're starting to see things in training camps. We're starting to see scrimmages. We're starting to see a lot of things. So I think this is the year where we kind of, see some things happen. And it looks like the 49ers just signed Robbie Chosen. Okay, I wonder if it's posted by NFL, so yeah, that's real. Interesting. Not really anything affecting there. They released Marquez Callaway. So that's interesting. Interesting. Okay. Well, I mean, there's breaking news for you. So if you really wanted to draft your chosen Andersons of the world, there you go. So, take that for what it is. So Anyway, back to what I was talking about before that. But yeah, the best ball season is pretty active right now. Lot of people going on. So I had my draft yesterday. I might be cooked. Why would you be cooked? What happened? What happened overnight? Did something happen overnight with somebody that I just don't know? Let's see. I don't see anything crazy. Would you rather have Achane, and Marvin Harrison Jr. or Henry Devontae Adams? I'd rather have Achane and Marvin Harrison Jr. probably. If I had to take a guess there, I'm kind of out on Henry. And Devontae Adams, until we hear, like, if we know Stafford's healthy, I'd probably take the Henry Adams side. But right now, we don't know that Stafford's going to be good to go. It's a little bit tricky right now as far as that goes, because if it is Jimmy Garoppolo as the quarterback, that significantly decreases Devontae's value, in my opinion, and it increases a little bit with Kyron's value and the handcuffs for the Rams. So I do think that's kind of dependent on that. If you think Stafford's going to be healthy, I probably would prefer the Adams Henry side. If you think Stafford's going to have this back issue all year, then I would probably go HA and Marvin Harrison Jr. That's probably how I would analyze that. Welcome to the stream, though. 2 new guys that I haven't seen here before. So, guys, welcome in. Random Posts and Parker. Appreciate you guys coming in, hanging out on this Sunday afternoon. Greatly appreciate it. We've been trying to get some contests in. I'm not going to say daily, but almost daily. We're trying. So, we're doing the best we can. And we need one more person to fill this draft. So, 13-man PPR. That's interesting. I've never heard of a 13-man league. I have Derrick Henry, Amarion Hampton, BTJ, JSN, Marvin Harrison Jr., Tet McMillan, and Tyler Warren. 1 quarterback, 2 receiver, 2 running back, 1 flex. Not bad. I think personally, I probably, let's see. I don't know who your quarterback is, but in the 13-man league, you're kind of doing the right thing there. You're kind of waiting on quarterback. I don't know who your quarterback is, but I think that realistically, this is not a bad team. I think there's a lot of variance with this team, though. I like BTJ a lot. Marvin Harrison Jr., I'm not super high on this year. Tet, I'm pretty high on. Warren, I'm about even with people on. I think I could see the upside. I could also see the downside with him. And we get pick 12 on this draft. So I like pick 12 quite a bit. So we'll see what happens here. But yeah, I think overall, the running backs I like a lot, Henry and Hampton. So I think that's pretty good. Quarterbacks are Caleb Williams, Drake May. Yeah, you're good at quarterback then. You don't even need both those guys if it's 1 quarterback. You have Chase Brown and Marvin Harrison Jr. or AK and Tet. Definitely Chase Brown, Marvin Harrison Jr. For now. Yeah, I if this is a redraft league, then yes, I'd rather have Chase Brown, Marvin Harrison Jr. If this is a dynasty league, I'm taking I think I'm still taking Chase Brown, Marvin Harrison Jr. So yeah, in both formats, I'm taking that side. I think it's just better. Someone offered me Lamar Jackson for Marvin Harrison. Should I? No, you shouldn't. No, I wouldn't do that. You have Caleb, you have Drake. You don't need another quarterback. I'm so sorry. I have like a scratch going on down here, and I don't know. It's like a mosquito bite or something. I don't know. Kind of itches. But anyway, no, I would not do that. That's too much to be given up at the receiver position to really make up for it. And you already have 2 guys there that have upside, in Caleb and Drake. Now, if Caleb and Drake both get injured, or Caleb and Drake kind of both suck, then maybe. But Marvin Harrison Jr. is a guy I'd want to hold on to personally. Jamar Chase off the board, 101, Saquon 102, Bijan 103. I probably would have went Bijan over Barkley and Gibbs over Barkley, but neither here nor there. I normally wouldn't have taken Marv, but he fell 2 rounds later than usual, so I had to take him. Yeah, I mean Marv falling with the running back room you have Amarion Hampton, Derrick Henry, and you got BTJ and JSN. Like you probably got him round 4, I would guess, and you got maybe Hampton round 5. I'm just taking a guess, but that's pretty good value, I'd say. Tet McMillan in round 6, that would be kind of crazy. Ted McMillan, I think, is a 5th or 4th round pick. I think he's really good, personally. So I think you got a pretty good team there. Texas Banner goes Puka Nacua. I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen Puka drop a little bit in value in these drafts yet. Kind of surprising to me, anyways. Okay, so let's see. We see Nico off the board. We see BTJ off the board. I would have really liked to have gone BTJ there because I'm really tired of going to Amon-Ra St. Brown, but we're going to do it. And we're going to go Amon-Ra St. Brown, I believe here. Let's see. Yeah, we're going to go Amon-Ra. And then I don't want to push Henry up here, so we're not going to. We're probably going to go Drake. I think that's a really solid outlook here to get 2 guys there that make a lot of sense. 2 guys that both are going to be relied upon heavily in their passing offenses, respectively. And I think it's a good bet to make, personally. I would have rather had Brian Thomas Amon-Ra, but it's okay. I still think Drake London is pretty good and could finish just as high, if not higher. So it makes sense to do it this way, but we'll see. And Parker, don't worry. You can ask plenty of questions if you want. That's what I'm here for. I'm a little concerned with my RBs. Other than Hampton and D. Henry, I have Jordan Mason, Trey Benson, and Jalen Warren. I'm praying either Aaron Jones or James Conner gets injured. I mean, those guys are fine, honestly. Like they're just cuffs. I mean, Jordan Mason is going to have a role regardless, I think. Benson and Warren's going to have a role also regardless. I think Benson's going to be a little bit more dependent on James Conner going down, but I do think I like all 3 of those guys. I don't really have a lot of Jordan Mason personally, but Benson and Warren I'm okay with because I know they both have roles. I think Benson, I was a big Benson guy last year, so I'm betting on that guy being good and having the upside. So okay, we lost, guys. We lost this draft, unfortunately. This guy gets Jonathan Taylor, Bucky Irving, and Jamar Chase. Unfortunately, we lost. Ruben won this one, and we should just move on to the next draft. No, I'm kidding. But realistically speaking, that's what that feels like. I'm not going to lie, because that is nasty. That is a nasty start. I wish I could get a start like that. I have one of those with CeeDee Lamb, but not with Jamar. So maybe I get out of the woods and CeeDee Lamb outscores Jamar Chase. It's the only way that can really happen. So we're going to be lucky to get a running back. I can see that coming now. Let's see. We're hoping we get just one of these guys. I really would prefer it be Kyron, but BTJ, Nico, or Neighbors. I think that one depends on format for me. If it's half point PPR, I'm going Nico. If it's PPR, I'm going Neighbors. And if it's no PPR at all, I'm probably still going Nico. I like Nico a lot. I think Nico is probably the consensus who I would go with in like broader terms. I think it'd go Nico, Neighbors, then BTJ for me. But it's really close between Neighbors and BTJ, honestly. At least for me. Well, we're going to get a running back at least, so that's good. We are going to manage to get one, so that makes me feel really good. And we got the one we wanted, so that's also really solid to get. We'll go Kyron, and do we want to go Kittle? No, not really. Terry, no, not really. Worthy, we can go Worthy. Get ourselves a little Worthy. Get ourselves a little Xavier Worthy action. I think it's not a terrible choice. I think we could sit here and by the end of this draft, we're happy that we took Worthy. I do think it's going to be an interesting kind of offense for them this year. I don't know if it's going to be an exceptional offense, like some people may say, but take that for what it is. Because I mean, realistically, at the turn next round, we could get a guy like Alvin Kamara or Chuba Hubbard maybe, and kind of build up this running back room a little bit. We'll see. But one of those 3 guys, maybe Travion or Harvey. We can get some guys potentially here. Let's see. Josh Allen, Justin Jefferson, and A.J. Brown is really fun. That's extremely fun, actually. I actually really like that team quite a bit, honestly. Tyreek Hill gets pushed up to 17. I don't really love that. Marv, DJ Moore, I don't really love his team, but it is what it is. Jaden Daniels all the way to pick 44. Keep that in the back of your mind because quarterbacks in this room are kind of undervalued, I should say. Which is interesting because I think this team here has elite as a guy who could finish at the top of their position every week. Daniels can, Hampton probably can, Bowers will probably be the top most weeks. CeeDee Lamb also that can. Getting Jalen Hurts at pick 48 there is absurd. I all of a sudden like this guy's team is unreal. Unreal, by the way. Jonathan Taylor, Bucky Irving, Jamar Chase, Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts. Oh, man, that's going to be a tough team to beat. Okay, that's going to be a real tough team to beat. And the only way we can beat that team is if we can outproduce them at receiver, most likely. And I don't know how I'm going to do that. So that's pretty tough. And I think we're doing that now because, I mean, let's be real. Devontae Smith is not Drake London or really Xavier Worthy in my eyes. So it's going to be tough for him to outproduce me there. So we'll see. Would you do this? I get Tracy McMillan and AK for Chase Brown and Tet. What McMillan is that? Are you talking about Jalen McMillan? If you're talking about Jalen McMillan, then no, I would never do that deal. That's gross. Ew. I don't know what McMillan it is that you're getting there other than that. I did that so wrong. I don't know if that's the McMillan you were referring to, but if it was, that's pretty disgusting as a trade. This guy's definitely going to go running back. Takes Chuba. Is what it is. Unfortunate for me. He goes Alvin K. We're not going to get as lucky here. I can see that coming now. We're just going to have to get guys with upside here. If we can get like a Rome. Oh, okay. Well, Rome's gone too, so guess we're not going to do that. And Travion's off the board as well, so we're just getting cooked here left and right. We're definitely going to go Harvey. I don't want James Conner. I'm not there with James Conner in the slightest. I think we're just going to double click Addison here and just move on. We'll go Harvey, and honestly, we'll go Swift or Connor. That's tough, dude. I think we're going to have to go Connor because there's other receivers that we're going to get at the turn that we like. So as nasty as it is, I got to go James Conner. I don't love it, but I think it's too good of a pick. I think at pick 84, we're going to have guys there that we're still looking at that we want. Downs could be there. We're hoping one of these guys can be there. I just think there's too much there. Let's see. I get Tracy, AK, and Tet for Marvin Harrison Jr. and Chase Brown. No, I'm still not taking that. No thanks. Tyrone Tracy doesn't add enough. I don't know what kind of league you're in. Is it a 10 team? Is it a 12 team? That kind of matters. And how many roster spots are starting? That matters also. I think that matters in this context quite a bit because if you're in like a 12 team, 3 wide receiver, 2 flex, then maybe you take the value there a little bit with Tracy because you get another flex kind of guy. You get another option that you can play on your team. I feel like Tet and Marvin Harrison Jr. are pretty similar, but Alvin Kamara and Tracy doesn't make the difference for Chase Brown for me, personally. So that's where I'm at with it. Boy, we're not going to have one receiver left, are we? When it comes in 10 picks here. Redraft, 10-man, full PPR, 2 wide receiver, 1 flex, 2 running back. Yeah, then I wouldn't take it. No thanks. Respectfully, I'd say no thank you. and just keep it pushing. That's what I would do. But let's see. Mixon's got a guy that falls a little, so maybe we get Joe Mixon as our last running back to the last round here, and we go Mixon and a receiver, and we start 4-4. That could be a viable option. Obviously, there is some concern with Mixon right now, hence the reason why he is down this low. But when we're drafting best ball teams, we don't have to manage our teams. They automatically start the best players anyway. So if we can get Joe Mixon and he ends up playing, we get an RB1 and Mixon, a low-end RB1, high-end RB2, that would be extremely helpful in this team in regards to just having the depth at running back that we think we're going to need. I don't know that Mixon's a great depth piece. I think Aaron Jones is also in that mix to be on this team. I do think they're both very good picks. So Aaron Jones goes off the board. That's probably who I would have preferred just because I know he's probably going to be on the field. We get both of our guys here in Downs and Mixon. So we're going to take both of them, see what happens. I think RB-wise, we're looking pretty solid. We have Kyron, Harvey, Connor, and Mixon. A lot of old talent here. We got some upside here with Harvey, though. And receiver-wise, you got Amon-Ra, Drake London, Xavier Worthy, Josh Downs. I like that room quite a bit. Some pretty good, solid, I'm not going to say floor guys, but Drake London and Amon-Ra, you're going to get them points. You kind of know what you're getting out of them. Xavier Worthy, Josh Downs are kind of our explosive, upside swing guys. We got Mixon, which I hadn't been mixing in Mixon, no pun intended, much until he got injured. I thought Mixon was going too soon. I'm more comfortable taking him at 85 or 90 than I am taking him where he was going in the 50s up there with Kamara. I was not comfortable taking him there at all. So now I'm kind of getting some Mixon exposure in here. I do think it's a pretty good start, though, overall. Like I said, I think we got some upside swings here. I don't know that Kyron really is an upside swing. I'm not a huge Kyron fan this year, but I do think he's good enough to take a pick 36 there as an RB1, as kind of a low-end RB1 that can put up those kinds of weeks. And we know he can put up those kinds of weeks. So it does make a ton of sense to me to do that. So I do think this is one of those teams also where you could just draft an upside play at quarterback with projection points in mind and be fine. Obviously Mahomes is gone off the board already. Kelsey's gone. So you don't really have that option. This guy's team is just phenomenal. And he takes the Green Bay double here, which is just a really fun team to have. I think this is a really fun team. I really like his team from the 101 spot. And he double taps tight end. That's this guy is sharp. This Ruben's sharp. He's knows what he's doing. His team is really good. I really like his team a lot. His team makes a lot of sense. And it's got a lot of upside with it too. Like the running backs, he could have an RB1 every week. He could have two RB1s every week. He has the consensus one every week, for the most part. Obviously, Smith, Reed, Golden are not really having much of a chance to finish in the top 12 receivers or whatever it ends up being for a wide receiver one, which is fine on his team because of what all he has. He also has Jalen Hurts, who could finish as QB1 some weeks. There's just so much upside with that team. So it's tough for me to not sit here and say that's not my favorite team right now because it definitely is. It's tough. It's tough. T-Law going off the board. That is just really early. We are going to go ahead and take Drake May here just to get that out of the way. And then I think we're going to go upside swing and Warren. And no, we already got a Colt. Let's go Ingram. Actually, no, let's not go Ingram. We're going to go Kraft. Actually, nope, we're going Warren. Screw it. We changed our mind like 3 times there. We're going Warren. I like Warren a lot. I think we can get a boring guy later. We want our upside swing earlier here. We can get Ferguson or somebody like that a little bit later. We can get the upside swing in a later round or the more solid, I should say, pick a little later. We want the upside swing now. I think Warren can provide that. So he offered another trade. I still give him Chase Brown and Marvin Harrison Jr. for AK Tet and Igbuka. It's still a no for me. It's still a no. I don't think it's close. I mean, Kamara and Chase Brown are not on the same planet, in my opinion. Marvin Harrison Jr. and Tet are pretty equivalent. I don't think Igbuka is enough difference in a 10-man. I just don't. Igbuka is probably going to be on your bench most of the time. So it doesn't really make much sense to downgrade a starter for a depth piece that really doesn't get to play hardly ever. So I would not do that personally. I'd still stick Chase Brown and Marvin Harrison Jr. Zach Charbonnet off the board, pick 118. Gets him as his RB2, which I don't love that. But, I mean, his receivers are really good. So he's got Rasheed and Godwin and Jawan, who all three could miss time at the beginning here. So it's a very volatile receiver room, too. Like, I feel like you're taking risks that you really don't have to make on this team. But what do I know? I'm just a guy who likes to click buttons. You know, I'm over here with Joe Mixon and James Conner and Kyron Williams in my running back room. You know, guys that everybody really doesn't notoriably like. So, you know, maybe I'm just the idiot. Easily could be just the idiot in the room, but hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. If you guys are new here, make sure y'all slap a like on here and subscribe to the channel. It would be greatly appreciated. If you guys enjoy the content that is brought to you. So I try to help you guys out also. So that'd be greatly appreciated. So be greatly appreciated. And it's free. It's not even, doesn't even cost you anything to do. So if we get David Njoku here, that's going to be huge. I don't think we're going to, because this guy has no tight end, and there's no way he passes tight end again. Absolutely no shot in this world he passes tight end again. But if he does, there's a chance. I was about to say, there's a chance he takes Loveland because he's got Caleb. We definitely smack Njoku here, and we're done at tight end. As far as the rest of this goes, we definitely would like to get a running back here to add to our room. Is that Ray Davis? I think so. I think Ray Davis is a very solid play. So, yeah, I think we're going to go Ray Davis and keep it pushing. We could also go quarterback and Penix. I'm not really there with that, to be honest. I think we could wait and just go Rich Rodgers, smack him at the end. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to take Ray Davis here as another upside play at running back. With James Cook holding out, maybe James Cook continues his holdout and we don't see anything happen and he ends up moving off his team, or they trade him, or something happens there to where they don't sign him and Ray Davis just slots in as the guy. Maybe they think Ray Davis is just as good as James Cook and he ends up being just as good as James Cook, and we get him at pick 133. We don't know any of that for certain, obviously, but, you know, sometimes beggars can't be choosers, and that's where we're at. So, yeah, I don't think it's a bad process pick there. Douglas is probably who we're going to be looking at. Tillman, Palmer, if they fall, you know, something like that would be nice. I do think, like I said, Drake May has upside for rushing, so I do think that it's possible we could just take Drake May and be done, you know, with starter level of quarterbacks and just take our spike week guys and like A-Rich and Rodgers, you know, something like that. I think that's very viable. You know, A-Rich to pair up with Downs and Rodgers. Maybe we just slap one of the Roman Wilsons or Calvin Austins of the world at the end, or, you know, I don't know that we really need Jonnu on this team, but Jonnu may be an option if he falls. Something like that. CJ Stroud off the board. Let's see. 3 quarterbacks. I don't like this guy's draft at all. I just, there's no running backs here that makes sense. Michael Penix, Bo Nix. I mean, this is a fine team. like I said, I think the best team in this lobby so far is the 101. We can just get through that guy. That's going to be tough because we have let him get this insane roster. Although he takes Ramondre Stevenson, which is an interesting pick, and Najee. I get it to a certain extent, but I don't know that I would have went Ramondre, so to speak. Demario Douglas goes off the board. Super unfortunate for us. Goes 10 picks above ADP. That really sucks for us because we're not going to have any stack now. Realistically speaking, Kyle Williams has already gone too, so we're just not going to have any stack with him. That's fine. We just want to make sure that we can get some guys here. It is what it is. At the end of the day, it is what it is. Garendo off the board. If we get Tillman, and then we just, I think that's fine. If we go Tillman here, and then, I don't want to go another Brown. I really don't want to go another Brown. I don't want to go Leggett either. I don't want to go third tight end. There's just nothing I really want to do here. I feel cornered. We'll go bet. No. We'll go. I guess we're gonna go Tillman. I mean, that's literally the only pick available here that makes any sense. I guess we're gonna bring up A-Rich. We're gonna bring him up a little bit here. I don't love that, but it is what it is. I mean, I feel like we kind of got to do that with the Indy double that we have going here. Alec Pierce was already gone too, so yeah. I mean, he wasn't gone. What am I saying? But I don't know that realistically speaking, we could sit up here and take Alec Pierce too because we have Downs and Warren, and I think that's plenty of guys already on this team. So I don't really love buying the Colts a ton, but it's kind of what's fallen to me. So I kind of think we could go Miles Sanders, get one more running back swing here. I'm not a Nick Chubb guy. You'll never see me draft him probably. I'm not taking Ford. Roshan, I'm not touching. I think Miles Sanders is kind of the guy that we look to get. Okay, well, never mind. Miles Sanders gets picked up 15 picks, so disregard that statement. Now we just got to see, this is what I'm talking about. Like the guys you want, you got to make sure you get because like these rooms are so sharp. Thielen, maybe. He's not really an upside swing, but he's a guy who can cover the bye weeks, which is kind of what we need. Especially early on for like London and them. Like I feel like he's a great option for that. I don't really know that we need a tight end, but we could afford a tight end. Rodgers. I think Rodgers is definitely going to be on our radar this upcoming turn. So Thielen's off the board. Take that for what it is. Maybe we get De'Ami Brown to get the week 6-17 correlation here. That can work with Jacksonville. Alec Pierce off the board. Likely Tua Stafford. There's a chance that he goes Rodgers. That quarterback room's kind of weak. Purdy, Ward, Baker, Caleb, and then he's already got 3, so I doubt he goes a third. There's a chance he goes Rodgers, which he doesn't. He passes, which is good for us. Let's see. We're going to go Rodgers and De'Ami just to get that kind of correlation with Indy in that game. So I think it makes a lot of sense. We're going to try to get in that next room and see if we can maybe get in with Nick and them. Nick and guys. Need 6 people, so need some people in that one. So we get Rodgers, A-Rich, and Drake. I mean, we get some upside swing here with Richardson. Drake obviously has some upside. We're hoping quarterbacks were good enough there. Rodgers provides a good enough floor to where we can take advantage of the upside here, and they all three hit the lineup at some point or another. Keenan Allen doesn't make a whole lot of sense for this team. I think we still need to swing for fences here. Slayton is a guy that I think can be that for us. Tight end, I don't know if it makes a ton of sense. I think running back is what makes the most sense for us. If we can get Krosky, that would be probably the ideal situation. I'm not going to sit here and say that we get him, but any of these guys is ideal for what we're looking for. So there's that. I think they're just going over the exposures. I don't think they're getting another one personally, but never know. Elijah Royal off the board. Brashard Smith off the board. Ooh, goodness. Keenan off the board. So we're not going to get Keenan Allen anyways. So honestly, I think at receiver, we could be done. And we could just double tap running back. I just don't love doing that. Troy Franklin, probably the Bo Nix drafter. Yep, this guy's a Denver fan. He knows ball. He's taking Troy Franklin that early. Krosky goes off the board, unfortunately for us. Does he take Brian Robinson? No, he doesn't. Okay. So he gets Ja'Cory Krosky. That's unfortunate for us. It is what it is at the end of the day. It is what it is. We're hoping that we can get Giddens and call it a day at running back. I wouldn't mind one more receiver if it is Austin or Roman Wilson. Probably going to make it Roman Wilson. I don't know. Calvin Austin is just a good player. If you know ball, Calvin Austin's just a good player. Just a very solid, stout player. Brooks off the board. Royals is fun too. Ray Ray's fun. I think if you go Ray, you should have went Penix though. Tesla, I'm not drafting really. We're definitely going to go Giddens, and I think we're going to go Calvin Austin. I don't really have a lot of Roman Wilson, and there's a reason that I don't. He's fine, but I like Calvin Austin a little more just for what his role is. I think spike week wise, he has potential to be better spike week wise. So there's the team. We have Drake May, Anthony Richardson, Aaron Rodgers, Kyron Williams, RJ Harvey, James Conner, Joe Mixon, Ray Davis, DJ Giddens, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Drake London, Xavier Worthy, Josh Downs, Cedric Tillman, De'Ami Brown, Calvin Austin, Tyler Warren, David Njoku, rounding it out. So let's go ahead and see what the next room looks like here. We're not going to sit around and wait. We are at, need 5 people. So 5 more people. Let's just do the +5 Husky 2 part 2 into the chat. So completed. We can go look at our exposures real quick here. Running back wise, we still have a lot of Judkins. I really think he will play this year. I am hoping he plays this year. If he doesn't, we're cooked. Keenan, he signs with the Chargers. This 19% looks really good. We need to start getting Rice again. I'm convinced that we need to start getting him again, and I just keep not getting him. So I'm convinced now that I really need to start doing it again, because his value is just where it should be. And 4th round Rice feels really good considering the efficiency numbers. It makes a lot of sense for me to do that. So I really want to get Rice a little bit more than where I'm getting him. So take that for what it is. 4 more people is what we need, and this will be the last draft of the stream. So hopefully we get some streamer luck here and get the 101 or something. We'll see. Ooh, and we're going to save the rest of these. So we're going to try our best to save these until towards the end of the contest, because I want to make sure that we kind of spread them out a little bit here and we have enough entries to where we're not sitting just bleak for days like I was this time around. So I want to make sure that I can get my stuff in, but I also want to make sure that I have room to, draft over the longevity of the contest rather than not. So, dude, my fantasy baseball team is so cooked. It is so cooked. I should have just never got rid of J-Ram. Man, that dude's unbelievable. He's just so good. Every single year, that dude is so good. Oh, man. 3 people. 3 people. That's all we need. 3 people. I'm adjusting my I'm adjusting my 3 more souls to join the lobby would be nice. I told her she's so pretty. I'm adjusting my I'm adjusting my 3 more people. 3 more people. I guess while we're waiting, we could go look at my exposures like entirely here. This was pre-draft. So we had a lot of Ayuk thinking he might be back healthy. Wilson, DJ Moore, Cedric, AJ Brown, Roma Dunze, Royals. I liked Royals a lot in the draft process. BTJ, Pickens, Travis Hunter, Devontae Adams, Josh Downs, Luther Bird. I want to see what quarterbacks look like for us. Milrow, we have at 14%, thinking he might have had a chance. Sanders, we have at 12. Ouch. That hurts a lot to see. Let's see. I'm sure we have Derek Carr in here somewhere. Yep, Derek Carr, only in 1 draft, which is kind of phenomenal, things considered. Let's see. Let's go NFL season. We've already kind of looked at this, but Purdy, Allen, Goff, Tua, Lamar, Dak, Caleb, Jaden, Stafford, Hurts, Richardson, Bryce, Jordan Love, Bo Nix, Cam Ward, and these are the guys I'm kind of even with, which, I mean, that makes a lot of sense. Very flat across the quarterback landscape, which makes a lot of sense. Bucky Irving, we have him in a lot of high-stakes stuff, so his entry fee is kind of up there right now. We're here. Oh, we got the 107. Probably the worst place to pick is the 107, unfortunately. You don't really get the guys you want, and you have to pick somebody here at 107, which sucks. Because after the 6, there's a clear drop-off after Gibbs. A very clear drop-off, in my opinion. So I think I'm back in on taking McCaffrey a little bit. I know I was a guy who wouldn't take him a lot at all. Even at 107, I was a guy who wanted him at 109, 110, and I just never got him there. And even then, the only time I wanted him was the second round, whenever he was going second round. So that's the only time it made sense for me to do that. I think now it makes sense because we see Garindo's banged up. We see Jordan James is banged up. We see the receiver room is banged up. A lot of things going on there that are requiring some attention on our part to keep up with. But I think McCaffrey has been the only guy that looks healthy in that room so far. So, which is ironic enough. If we can get a year like this out of him, I mean, that's pretty big, all things considered. But I don't know how likely that is to happen anymore. I think you could take Gibbs, though, or McCaffrey and be fine. I think you could take – I'm honestly good with Nico in this spot, too. I've liked Nico quite a bit this season. I do think Neighbors is another viable choice. Oh, he takes – oh, okay. Well, there you go. That's nice to see. That's great for us. Thank you, Phil Pap 3. Phil Pape. I don't know how to say that, but thank you. I appreciate that. Jahmyr Gibbs is my 104, so I'm happy with that. So we're gonna get Gibbs, and we're hopefully gonna get a receiver that we like. AJ Brown, maybe. That'd be nice. If we get BTJ, that'd be sicker, but I don't think that's gonna happen. We'll see. BTJ off the board. Unfortunate. Maybe we just get lucky and everybody passes on the Lions and they just take Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs. It's not going to happen, but if it did, that'd be sick. That'd be super sick. Yeah, I didn't think it would. So basically, he just flips the order. I mean, that's fine. Lad goes. Interesting. London goes. AJ Brown going to go. JT goes. We have to go Derrick Henry here. I mean, my gosh. The value on that is extremely nice. We get Gibbs and Henry. How are you beating me at running back every week? You're not going. I'll answer that question. You're not going to. you're not gonna beat me at running back. That's gonna be a really hard team to mess with, though. It's gonna be a really hard team to get some receiver catch up on here. We got to look across the board here. Neighbors, London, Nico, Ladd. I think you're fine. I think the Nico Ladd pick is not a bad one because that's the week 17 correlation. I've done that a few times. CD Bowers is scary. I like that a lot. CD Bowers. I do think it was viable to take Bowers up here at 18, but I think Derrick Henry as a faller there is just you can't pass that up. Jonathan Taylor pick 17 is fine. I get why people are steaming it up. I get it. You go Bucky, Josh Jacobs here, and that's probably the next two picks. He probably goes McBride Jacobs, which is very common. He goes Higgins Jacobs. I got one of the two right, so makes a lot of sense. He's got Bijan Bucky. I got Gibbs Henry. That's really the only RB room that I'm fighting with right now. He gets Garrett Wilson. I would love to have gotten Garrett Wilson, or McBride, either one. That's kind of the two I was looking at in hopes to get over a quarterback, but I'm going to have to take the quarterback here because that's where I'm just going to have to get my points at. I don't need a third running back, so if we get Allen or Lamar, I'm fine with either. I'm going to go Allen just for the sake of what he offers and brings to the table. I think he brings more to the table, so I think we're just going to go Josh and keep it pushing. I also think Jaden could be viable. Actually, no. Yeah, we're going to go. Okay, we're going to take Adams. I should have starred. It is what it is. Adams is fine. I mean, I'm okay with Adams too, honestly. Adams as a receiver one, I don't love, especially with the Stafford situation right now. We just hope Stafford's going to be okay. Stafford's a guy he can miss practices and be okay. I probably should have pushed Jaden up is what I probably should have done because now I may not get him. It is what it is. We could have got Lamar and paired him with Henry and just got all the rushing upside, but I'm not really concerned about doing that either. We'll see what they do at the turn here. See what happens. Because there's a significant chance that they could do that. One of these guys, he's not going to take a quarterback, and he's not going to take a quarterback. If I get past those guys with Jaden, then we're good. Mike Evans, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Brian Thomas, and Ashton Genty is a really fun start. Xavier Worthy off the board. Like I said, we just got one more guy to get past, and it's him. And we got it, I think. So we do get it. We are going to get it. I really wanted to get Rice, but not at that price. We're going to take Jaden here and keep things pushing. I do think getting Jaden is a big advantage for us. I don't love the Devontae Adams pick, but if Stafford's just in a few weeks, he's like, I'm good, I'm fine, everything's good, then I'll enjoy this team a lot more. But until that happens, it's going to be tough for me to get behind like that being an amazing pick at that position, unfortunately. I probably would have rather had JSN than Devontae. I'm not gonna say I prefer Mike Evans over Adams, but it's pretty close to me. So that's pretty tough in this regard. I'm not probably gonna get DK Metcalf. Pickens would be great. Sutton would be great. Devontae Smith is kind of to me. Waddle. Zay's kind of like one of those guys I'm not really excited about to draft. He makes sure to get it. I mean, this is the only way to make sure you get it now is take him ahead of ADP, unfortunately, because I got sniped on this earlier today with my Chase team. So it's the only way you can do it now, and it's really annoying because people just want to take him solo dolo, but it is what it is. All right, so we see Sutton go off the board, pick 51. Like I said, I don't like the 107 at all. I think we got a good start, but it's so hard to choose here because you never know what's going to fall. And it's just harder to push things because you don't know you're going to get it back. That's the part that sucks. So you just simply put do not know if you're going to get it back. Waddle off the board. I mean, this sucks. Calvin Ridley off the board. I guess we're just going to have to reach on Rome and keep it pushing. That really sucks for us because like we really wanted one of these two guys and we didn't get either one. Oh man. I'm okay taking Jade naked. If we get one of these three running backs to fall, I'm okay taking him naked. But if not, Debo's sitting there too. If we get none of those three, then Addison's the pick or Judy's probably the pick in this room because we need a guy who's shown that he can be a 1 and Judy can be a 1. I think Judy might be the pick regardless here. I mean, Addison has weeks where he's a 1, so I mean that makes sense. We just want to make sure that we get some upside at running back also outside of Henry and Gibbs. And I think it makes a lot of sense if we did get Harvey. That it like I said, it makes sense. All right, so Harvey goes off the board. So we have Debo, Addison, Judy there. I think we're good with any of those guys. Olave is not really a guy that's going to win you a league, so I'm not really worried about that. Laporta. I mean, every guy that I keep calling out that I'm about to talk about gets taken for a potential pick, so I'm just going to quit talking. Debo goes off the board. I mean, that sucks for us. That really sucks. I think we're going to go Judy because we can take the upside later. And we need a guy right now that makes sense for a receiver 1 and a gunslinger type offense. Addison, obviously, there's a chance he falls, but I don't think it's a high one because of the suspension. He's already a faller as it is. I think he's already way too low as it stands. So it would make sense for him to go already. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. He gets Addison and Jefferson on the same team. Sutton, Jameson, like he's got the week 17 correlation all right there in his receiver room. Makes a lot of sense. Take that for what it is. I think we can get some Green Bay guys. If we can double tap the Green Bay guys, that'd be great. But Golden goes like that's what I'm saying. Like I start to talk about one of the guys that I want, and then they just get clicked. So it's just like I don't even know who to talk about. Like whenever I'm not up, because like that's why I hate being in the middle because like you never know who's gonna fall to you, ever. and it seems like that just really sucks. And Jaden Reed goes off the board. So now we have no Green Bay correlation with Derrick Henry. Which I mean, at the end of the day, I guess it is what it is. But Pearsall's already gone. All the guys you really would want are pretty much gone at this point. Dang. Okay, this is what I mean by these lobbies. They're pretty sharp. I'm trying to go look at something real quickly here. I know we're on the board here. We got Downs queued. Downs can work. Who's Tampa Bay got? San Fran. Tampa Bay's got Miami. We could go Godwin. I think Godwin makes sense at this pick, so we're gonna do it and go Chris Godwin. A little bit past ADP. I want to make sure that we get some upside here. I don't know that Downs has the potential of Godwin, and Downs goes next pick. So, take that for what it is. So, this receiver room either is going to be a catastrophe or pretty freaking good. I don't know which one. And there's a lot of upside here, I think. We took a swing on Odunze. We have Judy, who's pretty solid for what he is. Godwin, I think, is a pretty big upside swing. Adams is Adams. We hope that Adams can have a, 1,100, 1,200 yard year and be fine. I do think it's a realistic outcome. I think in this room, we need a guy like Higgins that has upside and can become a guy, a very good piece down the stretch, especially for a team that's going to be throwing the ball probably a lot with Mixon the way he is. I don't really need Mixon on this team. Doesn't make much sense for me to do Mixon on this team, so I'm not going to. Normally, I'd take him here and pick 90, but I don't see a reason to really do that when your receiver room is where it is. So, I don't really see a reason to do that. However, I think Higgins is more likely to not fall than Joe Mixon because of injury sake. So we're going to go Higgins. I want the upside swing. Obviously, I don't think I'm going to get both. But if I do get both, it's more likely that I think Mixon is the guy that falls because of the upside swings. Because, let's be fair. 3 teams advance out of this pod. We got to have a lot of upside coming in as well to match that. You just got to get in the top 3 in this first round. You get in the top 3, you're great. You're golden. You have the running back room to do so. Receiver room, you have the guys you took swings on, that are upside plays in Rome and Higgins. And then you have Godwin, who's also pretty upside swing. You hope he comes back. If he's back by week 1, we're feeling great. We don't want him to rush him back, obviously, but if he is there week 1 and he says he's good to go, we're feeling really good about that. And if Mixon falls to us here, we're feeling even better. You know what I mean? We feel good that we pushed Mixon instead of Higgins because there's no way in heck Higgins was falling. I have a feeling Buster's probably going to take him because I know Buster. I know that name, and he's pretty sharp, and this is a pretty ridiculous fall for Mixon. You have to debate it, obviously. He doesn't. He passes. So there's a room right here that could use Mixon, potentially. This room really doesn't need it. Yeah, that's kind of what I figured would happen. Okay. So Ayuk, we're not willing to take. I'm not willing to go that route. We're probably going to go Andrews. Lamar would have made perfect sense with this team because we get Lamar, Henry, and Andrews. It would have made a lot of sense. But I think that's what makes this a little bit unique. If we get Daniels, obviously we took Daniels. I do think it makes it a little bit unique in that regard. Andrews, I don't understand why his value hasn't risen. Likely is a guy who is kind of totally just off my radar. I don't even want Likely anymore. And I think Andrews is just such a good touchdown weapon for the Baltimore Ravens. He's the only red zone threat unless you're worried about DeAndre Hopkins, which Honestly, I'm not at this point in his career. So that's where I'm at. I think Higgins also, or not Higgins, Andrews is just the most touchdown guy on that team that receives touchdowns. Rashad Bateman received quite a bit of touchdowns last year too. Zay Flowers is absolutely no threat to touchdowns really at all. Obviously, most of them go to Derrick Henry. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of where I'm at with it. Now, if Ayuk is here at this next pick, we might consider it. We already have Godwin, though, so that's kind of rough. I mean, Ayuk seems involved. That's the good thing with Ayuk, because he really seems involved. We're going to do it. I want him in one high stakes, so we're going to do it. Especially at this kind of value, we're just going to do it. And we're going to sit here and say we have a good enough receiver room to where we can hold two guys for a few weeks and hope one of them pans out. I think we got a good enough room to be able to say that. So now I do think this running back room requires a Tank Bigsby pick and a Miles Sanders and an Eckler pick. Like, I do think this room requires that. It doesn't really need a lot of upside. It's already got the upside there, and those two guys up top. You don't need to swing upside even more. I don't think. I know it sounds silly to say out loud that you don't need to, but I don't think it's necessary. Let's see. Goff, JJ, Herbert, Lawrence, Stroud. I think Ray Davis is a decent pick here. I don't think it's bad to go CJ Stroud. If we're gonna make the bet that Higgins is a guy that's worthy of having on the team and on the field, I think it's worth that to go ahead and do it. But I also think Jaden Daniels is going to be our QB most weeks, and we're going to need a guy at running back here. So I think we're going to go Ray Davis, and then we're going to go Tank. I don't think we need another elite running back or elite quarterback. Obviously, Stroud's not really elite, but I don't think he's a guy that we need. So if we're winning with this team, it's going to be because Jaden Daniels is on the team. That's the bet we've made. You know, and I'm willing to lie in that bet. So Zach Ertz, wherever the heck he is probably going to be on this team. Noah Brown is probably, and they take Tank. Tank is just rising so fast, dude. And I get it. He's a sharp pick, but man, I really wanted to push him to 138. I thought I could. Oh, that sucks. That really sucks for us. It is what it is, though. It is what it is. There ain't nothing much you could say or do about it. You took Ray Davis. Take it for what it is. You know, you decided to take another running back over him. That's what happened. It is what it is. QBs are getting pushed up incredibly fast here. We're going to skip it one more round. I think we're going to go Benson. Or we could go Mims. I think we're going to go Benson, though. Ooh, I almost slapped Rachaad White. We're going to go Benson. Like I said, we already got upside here in having Henry and Gibbs on the same team. I think if we just take a couple cuffs that have a chance to get an RB1 job if something happens, especially Benson. Benson's a guy. I'm not a big believer in James Conner, so I tried to get Benson a lot, and I think Benson can have some value, especially on a team that has weapons dropping like flies right now. I think the weaponry of that team is really lacking. You know, Bryce Young goes off the board. This might be a team we just lean into Matthew Stafford being fine and with Devontae Adams being our receiver 1. I think that's a bet that we should be able to make. So on the bright side, at least Devontae and Puka are both good receivers. The only downfall is Stafford's not getting that time with Devontae that he needs, and vice versa. Devontae's not getting the time with Stafford. So that part does hurt a little bit. That could end up being a later season kind of deal where, like, back half of the year, Adams is better than the front half. I do think that hurts a little bit. Is the Puka team ahead of me? No. Where's the Puka team? Here's the Puka team. He's already got 2 quarterbacks, and they're both elite, so he's probably not going to take Stafford. Can we push Stafford another round? I think we can. Yeah, I think we can. If not, we have quarterbacks we can fall back on anyways. I'm okay with pushing him another round and taking a Najee Harris maybe at 150. I think that's worthy of doing. So I think we're going to do it. We're going to go Najee. So we're taking guys there. I think we're good at running back. Receiver, we probably need to start clicking a little bit here. Once we get Stafford. If we don't get Stafford, then we can click receiver and just push to A-Rich Rodgers and be fine. Probably Rodgers more so than A-Rich, but I think that's fine with me. We can just late pair him. Tight ends wise, Ertz is another guy that we want to look at. Jonnu, we could go Jonnu Rodgers. I mean, that would make sense. Who's on the other side? Commanders and Cowboys. So no, that doesn't really line up at all. Let's see. Rams and Atlanta doesn't really line up either. Jacksonville Colts, no. Patriots. Who's on the other side of the Patriots? The Jets? No. Baltimore, Green Bay. There really isn't anybody for Green Bay that we could draft that makes sense. So no. Detroit, Minnesota. That doesn't really make much sense either. Okay, so none of those really outcomes make sense. Eckler is still sitting there on the board, so is Stafford. We're taking Stafford here, most likely. Yeah, I think we're going to go Stafford. And just lean into the fact that we think Stafford's going to be fine. And we have Stafford and Devontae Adams, and we just keep it pushing. See, because we would have been screwed if we would not have done that, because we got people taking third quarterbacks, so we definitely would have been screwed had we not done that. Yeah. So we see the quarterbacks start going. Definitely did the right play there. I think we could take a third quarterback in Rodgers and be okay. We still only have one tight end. I think we're going to have to bank upon Zach Ertz and Mark Andrews being it. I don't think that's a bad tight end room by any means. I know Zach Ertz in previous years has missed games, but we saw last year when he plays a full season, looks good. Still looks pretty dang good. 7 touchdowns. And if we lean into the fact that Terry McLaurin is not happy right now, then we're fine. Because he's probably going to be the number 1 threat in the red zone for Jaden Daniels outside of the run game. So, and we got one more running back that we're going to take anyways. We're probably going to take Ja'Cory. Probably not going to go Miles Sanders. Just not a firm believer there, but I mean, obviously it could happen. But Mason Taylor, Jack Besh off the board. A lot of Browns running back there going on. I don't really know why he double tapped running backs there for the Browns, but you'd think you'd want to make a bet on one or the other and not both. But what do I know? So here's a choice that I have to make. Do we want to go Zach Ertz or do we want to go Jonnu? And I think we want to go Zach Ertz. I know how good Jonnu was last year. We're going to go Ertz. Yeah, we're going to go Ertz. I think Ertz is just a better pick. I don't think we could sit here and comfortably say that Pittsburgh's going to be a throwing offense still. You know, them getting rid of Pickens kind of hurt that opinion for me because at first I was like, oh, DK Metcalf, George Pickens, that's sick. You know, they're going to be really good. They're going to air the ball out this year. Jalen Warren's probably going to be on the field a lot. And then they trade away George Pickens, and then they get Jonnu Smith, another tight end. And it's like, okay, well, I guess now they're going to go back to running the ball majority of the time than throw. Then you see Rodgers as quarterback, and that doesn't really make sense for what his archetype is either. So I don't know. I don't know how that offense is going to look. And I think you could definitely lean into them being a pass-heavy offense still. But that defense is just so good that it just doesn't seem like they have to do that. Maybe they're more efficient throwing the ball, which could easily be the case. They're a more efficient offense running or throwing the ball this year, which can make a lot of sense. So I could lean into that aspect a little bit. But I don't know if I'm ready to sit here and say they're going to be a throw-first offense. Because I don't believe that. So let's see. Do we need a third quarterback? Do we need one? No. Should we get one? Maybe. In this room especially, I think we should. I think 3 quarterbacks is fine. We could really lean into Jaden Daniels being amazing, but with Stafford already kind of banged up a little bit, I think you can make the chance here that Aaron Rodgers is a guy that we take. I think we have quite a bit of room there to do that, so we're going to. Receiver-wise, I think we need one. I don't know that we need another tight end. I think we lean into the fact that Andrews is exceptional. And Andrews, has he been hurt? Sure, he has been hurt. He was hurt last year. But he's been a guy, and he was hurt a little bit this year, but he has been a guy in previous that we've seen get the target share. He's been a guy in previous where we've seen it before. Be an elite tight end, and he doesn't. I mean, obviously, he's never been fast, so he's always been a finesse kind of guy too. So, big red zone target for them. I think it makes a lot of sense to do that. Jake off the board. I think Keenan makes sense for this team too, or Slayton. They both make a lot of sense for this team. If we can get them. I've seen me get both those guys last round before, but I don't know in this room that we're going to. Yeah, Slayton goes. Is what it is. Calvin Austin. Hunter. Just depends on who you like at this point. I think Keenan Allen makes sense for this team, though. Krosky, Merritt. We didn't get Krosky. Krosky's getting pushed up a lot more. I understand it to a certain extent, but sometimes it's just unwarrantedly pushed up, it feels like. We're just going to go Keenan and hope that Keenan signs with the Chargers. And he's the wide receiver too there, and we get some viable weeks out of him, which I think we can. So the last pick is probably going to be running back. It's most definitely going to be running back. I shouldn't even say it's probably. It's most definitely going to be running back. Justice, maybe. Maybe we take Justice Hill as the complement to Henry as, like, they're losing a game or two, and, you still can get that RB1 production out of the Ravens backfield and Justice for the receiving aspect of it. I think that's something that's viable to do. Monangai feels nasty. Ty Johnson is kind of nasty. And you can see Justice Hill goes off the board, so we're not going to get that. Okay. Let's see. Arroyo could be decent. Monangai's gone and Justice Hill. Like, oh, man. That's rough for us. That was really rough. Okay. Geez, there's no good running backs here left. And let's be real, there's just not any guys here that I want. Yeah, there's just nobody here that I want. So I think best pick here is Arroyo and just take the upside at tight end. I don't know that we necessarily have to go running back, but we would like to. So I think we go Elijah Arroyo here and just keep it pushing. I think last round Arroyo's fine. All right, so we get 3 tight ends. We only get 5 running backs, so we're really heavily leaning on Gibbs and Henry to be the guys. We got Ray Davis, Trey Benson, Najee Harris. At running back, Jaden Daniels, Matthew Stafford, Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, Rome Odunze, Jerry Jeudy, Chris Godwin, Jaden Higgins, Brandon Ayuk, and Keenan Allen. And then tight end room, we finish it off with Mark Andrews, Zach Ertz, and Elijah Arroyo. Not bad overall. I think it could have been a little better. This isn't one of my favorite teams, but it's not one of my least favorite teams either. Really sharp room in here, though. We had a lot of sharp guys, it felt like. So really sharp room. That's going to do it, though, for me. Like I said, if you guys enjoy the content, make sure y'all drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys in the next one. Until next time, I am off here, so I will see y'all later. Have a good night. Have a good day wherever you're at,